The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today we celebrate the conversion of St. Paul. And we are mindful of how important that moment of conversion is as we gather together today as a community, as Christians, as Catholics. It is a foundational moment in the history of our community, of our church. This important moment, this turnaround, this whole reorientation of Paul's life to embracing Jesus Christ and to being sent, to being an apostle. It's very easy to read the story of this conversion and think, oh, it was a one and done deal for Paul. That his eyes were open to the faith and he began to embrace Christianity wholeheartedly without any doubts or any issues or without wrestling with this faith and with the belief that had come kind of pouring in on him at the moment of his conversion. But if we reflect over all the epistles, all his writings, and if we look at his life, we see that his whole life was not just one moment of conversion, but his whole life was a journey of transformation. And in so many ways he realized, and this is the genius of Paul and of his spirituality, that he realized that he was constantly being transformed, constantly being converted closer and closer to Jesus. For we hear even Paul say, I am what I am because of the power and the grace of Christ in my life. Yes, this moment was very, very important. The moment his eyes were opened and the Christian community welcomed him into the community. It was a fundamental moment, a birthing, if you will. But this was just the beginning of the conversion, of the transformation. And when I think of that, I think that's hope for all of us. That we're all being asked to convert, to be transformed, to be open to the graces of Jesus Christ as it works every day in our lives. That indeed our conversion is not over with yet. Today's story of a conversion reminds each and every one of us that God never gives up. That God is not held captive by our past. He certainly wasn't held captive by the past of St. Paul, who persecuted the early church. God continued to work through that. And God's strength can go up against that resistance that we might even have towards God. Be it a lack of belief maybe, or maybe even anger towards our God because of the situations that maybe confront our life. That's not even a wall for God, as we see in the life of St. Paul, that God goes up against that, breaks through those things to bring about our conversion. Indeed, this feast is a feast to remind us about the ongoing beauty of our faith that continually is to cultivate us, form us, and shape us into who we become in Jesus Christ and by the grace of God. That's why I think it's important to look at those moments of conversion in our church, such as Vatican II, that great council. It's very easy to see this as some kind of historical event. But our Pope Francis has reminded us so many times that Vatican II is not done with us yet. It's continually call us as a church to deeper conversion, into that relationship with Jesus Christ, to proclaiming the good news, to being a church open and hospitable, so that others might know this Jesus that saves, restores, and gives life. who invites us into coming to know our deeper selves in the very grace and wonder of Jesus Christ. And so we gather together today and we bring our